How's it going, Exiles? So, it's getting late. I'm pretty tired. I'm going to call it a day. I got the character up to 78 for the Righteous Fire Elementalist. I just finished the Uber Lab to get Heart of Destruction here. I have some pretty scuffed gear. I think maybe in my process of getting to level 78, I've maybe gotten like 20 Chaos, and that's how much I've spent getting basically a couple scuffed Burning Bright jewels, where I basically just grabbed a jewel for 1C and then alt spammed it until I hit Burning Bright. I haven't even regaled them. Then I have Widespread Destruction here with Smoking Remains. This was basically an Alk Scour, and then once I hit that, I was happy and gone with my life. And then, other than that, jewels I have on the tree are just Fire Damage, Burning Damage for 1 Chaos, and Fire Dot Multi Burning Damage, Chaos. Here we have is a Scepter with +1 fire spell, burning damage, and then an open prefix to craft fire damage. Eventually we'll be able to craft fire dot multi in it on it to improve it. A shield like Sophal's Frame gets us a decent amount of max res. It's nice for survivability. Not going to be our endgame shield. Frankly, none of the gear we're going to be wearing right now is going to be our endgame. Right now we're just spec'd for some damage, some speed. Skullhead gets us a nice amount of mana and life, along with regen for our minions, and gives us some all res. So it's a nice little starter helmet. Pyre rings are great for damage early on, so we're wearing those. You just have to make sure you don't have any flat cold dispels anywhere. And then I have a belt that I picked up like at level 5 that I haven't messed with. A amulet I picked up somewhere bad too, and it's a complete piece of trash. Some okay boots that have life, a little bit of res, and 14 move speed. Some gloves that were 4-linked, and we got really lucky on our alchemy orb to hit double res, life, and then craft res on it. And then a random chest piece that we ID'd that had triple res, life and mana on it, and we 4-linked it. So basically right now we have our Scorching Ray linked to Infused Channeling, linked to Elemental Focus, linked to Efficacy. Other links you can go for are Burning Damage, Control Destruction, Swift Affliction. Those would all be decent links for Scorching Ray. We have ourselves Righteous Fire linked to Burning Damage, linked to Elemental Focus. Right now we're doing increased AoE. Just for the nice big fire circle. You can also go for something like efficacy here, or inspiration if you generate inspiration charges elsewhere. And then looking at our arcane cloak we have set up here, we're simply using this with arcane surge. That way, whenever we proc it, we get arcane surge, which will give our scorching ray more damage, and then it'll also give us a bunch of percent mana regen. We also have on our ascendancy, whenever we inflict exposure, we get mana regen. So right now you'll notice our Righteous Fire, I must have Arcane Surge on it. Okay, Arcane Surge, once we lose Arcane Surge, we start to degen a little bit. Once we get Arcane Surge back, we'll definitely be sustaining, and then when we're inflicting exposure, we'll have another 1%, which will get boosted by our mana regen rate. Right now, we really have a pretty sad mana pool and sad mana regen. We'll get it a lot better with some mana items like Aziri's Foible, like Cloak of Defiance. Those are the two of the items I'm going to look at getting next, and upgrading our belt for maybe a mana recovery rate belt. Stuff like that is what you want to look for. I'm going to go ahead and showcase doing a Veritania, because that's what I just got. The Veritania fight. We already did, I think I already did Baron, and I already did Hunter. So I have Drox after Veritania, but I'm just going to finish off with doing this Veritania real quick, just to show you what it looks like while mapping. And of course I'm going to link a POB in the description for this character. Hopefully we don't lag out. I've been having a decent amount of lag recently with the POE on this launch. For some reason I've been lagging a lot. I'm just not going to bother too much with clearing. I'm just going to go straight to Veritania so I don't waste too much time, because I really am tired. I'm losing it a little bit. But yeah, as I said, I'll put a POV in the description so that way you can look at all this character's current gear and whatnot. It's nothing too special. It's pretty cheap stuff. Spec for damage, not really spec for tankiness yet, but we're going to fix that later on with a little bit more currency and a little bit more time actually crafting decent gear. I'm trying to figure out where the actual boss is here. Okay, got the boss. Let's go kill Redeemer now. Looks like we got a passive point. Gonna go ahead and put that into some damage over here. Get Veritania spawned. And okay, just DPS her. Okay, so early on the damage is really good. I think we only have level 18 Righteous Fire right now. I guess it's technically 19 because we have a +1 here, but it's a level 18 gem. We'll get another radius the second we level it up again, which will be even more AoE. And this is only the beginning. I'm planning to get this AoE much larger over time. But I'd say right now, for early maps, we just basically can absolutely crush bosses. You just go in, pop your Val Righteous Fire, Scorching Ray, and you'll own them. The way this is currently set up, the only thing I've run into problems with a little bit is rituals can be kind of rippy for the golems. I think later on when we get enough damage, we'll be killing the enemies so fast they won't have a chance to kill our golems. I'm thinking that's how it's going to end up playing out. But for right now, your golems die occasionally. I recommend being on the move when you're doing rituals, moving around like this, putting up your Orb of Storms, looking out your exposure, get the % mana regen from that, and just keep moving. Aside from that, I probably should go over flasks real quick. Really important, if you want to turn off your Righteous Fire, you need a remove burn flask. I recommend getting a small or medium flask, at least item level 13, I believe. You can get them in Act 2. And ideally, you want to roll it for reduced charges used. I hit max charges used and ran out of alteration, so I stopped there. After that, a mana flask with Enduring and bleed removal is great. So you got to roll for Enduring, then craft on bleed removal using the Bestiary. For your next flask, I like Quartz just for give you phasing, give you some dodge. And of course, remove curse is always important while mapping. You get a lot of things that curse you, or map mods that have curse on it, and it's just nice to disable those mods and make them not matter too much. Then we have an Onslaught flask. You can probably replace this with a Sulfur flask, honestly. And we just have Immune Poison on it, and then we have Adrenaline flask. So, nothing too crazy, but the damage is nice, the clear feels good, and I'm ready to go to bed. So, sorry if that was all kind of jumbled. I was just trying to get this together, so that way you guys can have something to shoot for in terms of what kind of mediocre gear looks like that'll basically crush white maps. The gear we have on now, frankly, could take us into yellow maps pretty easily, but we'll get better gear by the time we get to yellow maps anyways, because we'll get more currency, frankly. By the time we get to yellow maps, we'll have more currency to get much better gear than we have now. So, anyways, peace out, guys. Have an excellent day, and see you guys in the next video, hopefully. All right.